We are going to do this the pre-trip inspection checklist. And first of all, we're looking at the bus to see, we're pretending the bus sat here overnight. So we're looking to see if there's no limbs on top of the bus. We're looking at to see if the bus is sitting level to the ground. Okay. We're making sure we have the current license tabs on there on the bus. So we got 16, so we're good there. We'll also like to do the state patrol sticker. Make sure it's current, and it's a school bus inspection, and it was just done in July. Actually, they were done in July, but they punched the wrong date, wrong hole. So we're good there. This got done the other day. So okay. Also, we kind of we're looking underneath the bus real quick to see if we see any oil drips down on the ground. So okay. So then we'll look underneath there again a little bit later. Okay. So now we're gonna we're gonna hit the front of the vehicle, lights and reflectors, and the mirrors. Okay. So, and I like to look at the clearance lights along the top, making sure they're clean, they're not cracked, and we'll operate those later. We'll check all the lights in a little bit here. The reds and the ambers lenses are all in place. They're clean, they're not cracked, and once again there too we'll operate those in a little bit. We are pretending we're that it says school bus up there, and the material is reflector tape, and there's no frame. It's you can read it very easily. Looking at the windshield, we're looking to make sure there's no cracks or chips in the windshield. Otherwise, that would have to get taken care of. So the headlights also, they're all in place. They're securely fastened. The lenses aren't fogged. They're nice and clean. Okay, on both sides, securely fastened. The covers look good, appear to be in good shape. Our side mirror, the driver's side mirror, just kind of give that a little tug, make sure it's nice and tight. The side mirror and the convex mirror all appear to be good. They're not cracked, they're clean, and there's no black edges going around saying that it needs to get replaced. Our crossover mirror, I like to make sure it's tight to the frame of the fender, and we make sure that this is nice and tight here. Once again, the mirror itself is clean, not cracked. We'll go to the other side, do the same thing. Grab the arm and just make sure it's nice and tight, nothing loose at this connection, and there's nothing loose here also. And the lens looks good, and no, it's not black edges either, not cracked, very nice. Our other side mirror here too, same thing, just kind of give it a little pull, make sure it's nice and secured. Our side mirror looks good here, it's clean, and our lower one, the convex mirror, is also clean, not cracked. Very good shape. Looking at this one here, this particular bus has a BY plate, so we have another sticker over here. That's what that sticker is. But most buses, if you looked at the license plate, it says BY on.
BY on.
Otherwise, most of them would say school bus. So this bus gets inspected every 6 months. So, okay. Now we're going to open up, we're going to check underneath the engine compartment. Okay, so we unlatch the hood here. We'll go to the other side. I'm going to go get one more thing out of the bus. I'll be right back. Okay, first thing on the list is the oil level. Okay, oil level's the yellow one. You turn it about 3 or 4 times, and it'll start coming out. And for the test, you can ask the examiner if you would like to take a look at it. But I want to show you that it needs to be
right here,
in between those dotted. There's like some X's in there. The oil needs to be in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And the bus should be not running and then we screw it back in there 3 or 4 times, just so it's tight. Okay. On the list, we go to coolant level. Okay. Coolant level is right here. It needs to be in between the add and the max.
Okay.
Okay. We're checking also all the hoses that goes to all these different parts of the bus too. We're making sure they're all nice and tight. They're not cracked or nothing. Okay. The hoses for that appear to be good. This is securely fastened. Next on the list is the power steering. And the power steering on this bus is right here. Okay, this is the power steering. You have 2 ways you can check it. You can check it here, or you can read it on the side. Same thing, minimum and max. Just needs to be in between there. Okay. Also, it's nice and secured, nice and tight. The hoses here appear to be in good shape, also not cracked, and they're nice and tight. Okay. Water pump, alternator are going to be on the other side. Very good. We're going to check the transmission. This is right here. This is a little bit later on the list, but we can check it while we're here. Also, you just pull it and the bus should be running and in neutral for that one.
Okay.
Okay. So same thing.
Oh, for the transmission.
Huh? Yep.
For the transmission only.
Yep. For the transmission, the bus needs to be in neutral and running. Okay. Let's go to the other side and we'll do the okay. So next is the water pump. The water pump is going to be right here. Okay. And on the water pump, we're basically would be indication we'll be seeing any drips on the ground if it's bad. Okay. If it starts to leak. Okay. And this is probably like a reddish color. You can see it. You can see it in the reservoir over there, what color fluid it is. Okay. Next thing. Oh, we got to do the master cylinder. Alternator. Alternator is right here. We're checking to make sure there's no black edges, showing maybe something got hot. It's nice and tight. We do have our belt over here too. We could check. And the max that you can have on that belt is up to 1 inch. And it's going to be pretty hard to get that 1 inch. Okay. But that's max you can have on there. We got to go back on the other side. I forgot the master solenoid. Here's our master solenoid, is right here, and we can see the level in there right now. And then you got minimum and max also on that. Okay, so now we can go to the steering components, and we have our steering arm here. Okay, and we'll check the steering wheel for the slop it's allowed to have when we get inside the bus. This is your steering gearbox right here. It is nice and tight to the frame. Appears to be in good shape. The hose is coming up. I don't see any leaks coming from them. We have a seal in here also, and the seal appears to be dry. We go down to the bar here. It's called a pitman arm, and we're making sure the main thing is that the nut and cotter pin is in place and tight. This bar here is called the drag link, and it goes to the spindle arm here. Main thing again here, we're making sure that the nut and cotter pins are in place. Okay, nice and tight. All right, and then we have our tie rod in. Is the one that goes from this side to the other side, and we're making sure that nut and cotter pin's in place also. All right. We can go to the front wheel too. We'll do a little bit on this side, and then we'll go to the other side and finish up on over there. So the tires, you got to hit the tires, and I believe these tires are about 105 pounds PSI. 105. Okay, so you just hit it and make sure the tire is hard. Okay, we're looking at the rim. You can't have no aftermarket welding on the rim. The rim appears to be in great shape. Okay, we have our valve stem and the cap is in place. The cap must be on. Our lug nuts, we're making sure that they're all tight. Okay, and an indication that one might be loose. You might see some corrosion back around the nut there. Okay, our hub, this is our axle hub here. Our bolts are all in place, and there's a seal in here, and the seal is nice and dry. This is turned black from the stuff leaking if it was bad. Okay, our brakes, we can see our caliper here, and on the brakes we're looking for any cracks that may be on the rotor. Okay, so you can see the disc back there. If it has any cracks on it, that would have to get replaced. Okay, and then they say that once the pad gets to a 1/4 inch to the groove, that the pad should be replaced. But that's, for you and I, that would be really hard to see.
Yeah.
You know,
you have to go under.
Yeah. Okay, tap your mud flap, make sure that's nice and tight to the bus. All right, we'll go. Now we got to do the suspension. Okay, we'll start from the frame and work down. So the frame, we're looking for any rust holes. We have holes here, but these are all engineered from the factory. Those aren't the holes that we're concerned with. If you see a hole with a rust in it, you make note of that. The frame also looks nice and straight. It's not bent. We go down to the right here is called the leaf spring mounting bracket. It's secured to the frame, and then it's secured to the leaf spring with the bolt here and the nut. We're looking at the leaf springs themselves. We're making sure all the leaf springs are there and that they're not cracked. You might see a crack on one of the springs on the side, and then that would have to get replaced. It goes back to that's called the shackle back there. That's the shackle with the two bolts going through there. So the lower bolt's holding the leaf spring in there, and it goes up to the frame. Everything appears to be in good shape. Okay, and then we have our two U-bolts right here that go around the leaf springs to the axle, and you want to make sure that the nuts are on all of them. Okay, they are all nice and tight. They're all present. That's in good shape. The shock too, you have your shock mount here. The nut and bolts are in place. It's nice and tight. If the shock itself was going bad, you would have blackness, shiny, that would be leaking from the top there. And then the mount at the bottom is also secured to the frame, to the axle. Any other hoses we see here appear to be in good shape also. Yeah, this is another place where you could check that belt right here. This is where you're going to get the most clay in it, and it's no more than an inch there, so appears to be good shape. I did forget about the tire. The tread depth on the tire is 4/32 or greater, so we have that easily right here. Tire, there's no cuts on the sidewall and no bulges either. Tires are in great shape. We'll go to the other side, check out a few more over there. Once again, we'll looking at some more hoses here. We're making sure they're all nice and tight, no cracks in any of the hoses. This is our air filter in here. We have a dial or a gauge on here. Once the yellow part of the inside comes out, and if it hits the red part, you'd have to change that filter or blow it out. Okay?
Color yellow?
Yeah, yep. There's a yellow thing that comes out. So obviously this one's nice and clean because it's not even coming out yet. So we have our air intake hose here. Clamps are nice and tight. Our shut off for the heat for inside the bus are right here. You could turn that to shut it off, mostly for the summer months. You should have two of those. One there, and then there's one back here, I believe, on this bus. Looking at the frame also, same as the other side. We'll look, major concern if it's any rust holes. Once again, they have holes, but those are from the factory, and the frame appears to be in good shape. Here's our leaf spring mounting bracket also, which helps hold up the bumper also. Everything's, the bolts are all present in place. The leaf springs themselves appear to be in good shape also. We're looking for cracks in those leaf springs. We have our shock mount to the frame, nice and tight. Shock is nice and tight into there. Both the bolt and washer in place. No leaking coming from the shock. And our mount back on the bottom here is also in good shape, nice and tight. Remember the shackle is called in the back there. The nuts and washers are in place also. All right. Yeah. Once again, too, that's the tie rod coming from the other side. We're making sure that the nut and cotter pin is in place. Okay. And also, here's another. We can see a better shot holding on the whole wheel part. The nut and cotter pins in place there also. The calipers present, the hoses going to the caliper, all good. I don't see no leaking showing that we're losing brake fluid. Everything looks good there. We'll move to this tire. Oops. We'll move to this tire, and once again, it's 4/32 or greater. Tread depth is great on these tires. The sidewall, looking for any bulges or any cuts that somebody maybe cut the tire. The rim itself appears to be in good shape. There's no aftermarket welds that I can see. Our valve stem is in present and the cap's on. And our lug nuts are all nice and tight. No corrosion, which would indicate that one is loose. Our axle hub also, all the bolts are present and the seal is dry. Appears to be in good shape. We'll look in there. Also, we're looking to see if we can see any cracks on the rotor or any rust on those, and it all appears, might be a little easier to see in this one. See back in there. That's kind of what we're looking at. And we'll tap the tire also, make sure she's hard. Once again, it's 105 pounds. You can either use a mallet or a tire pressure gauge to check those. So, and now we can shut the hood. I'll close this one and then I'll come back over there. Okay, so next on the list, it talks about the door and the mirrors. We did the mirrors already. We can talk about the door here. The door, hang on one second. We'll unlatch it. We make sure the door opens nice and free. Opens and closes nicely. We're looking at all the glass, all the panes of glass. These are double panes, so if you get any moisture inside the panes of glass, they would have to get changed out. Okay, you cannot have no moisture in between the pane of the glass. The seal too, we're looking at the seal, appears to be in great shape. And we'll jump over to the fuel compartment. We're making sure that the cap is present. The fuel cage appears to be in great shape. We should be able to see, it's hard to see maybe, but we have a strap that goes around the tank and the cage, so it's all tied in. And I don't see any leaks on the ground. So the cap's present, our strap's in place, the fuel cage is nice no, you know, it appears to be in great shape, and I don't see any fluid on the ground. That's the main thing there. Okay, now we'll go into the steps. Check out the steps. The treads are in great shape. Okay, all of them are in good shape. There's no obstructions in the way. We can't have nothing laying around in this area. Okay, we have our grab bar here. It's nice and tight. We have our stairway light, and we'll check that light to make sure that's functioning here also. We'll go into the bus, and behind the garbage can is the sticker. You got to make sure the sticker, this is done. This will be renewed again in August, so, but it's good for this year yet. And we make sure, well, you got to make sure this is also latched in there. And sometimes going down the roads they vibrate loose. Okay, on the gauge too, I'll let you get in here, I'll get out of your way, but it has to be right in the middle in the green zone. Okay, I'll let you get a shot of that. So right in that gauge there, you can see that that has to be right in the green, right there in the middle. Okay, so that's in good shape. We're making sure we have our first aid kit here. We have our body fluid kit here. And this, okay, and our triangles on this bus are going to be up here. Right here in the box are our triangles. So, okay, and then it talks about, I'm going to latch the garbage bucket back in place. Okay. It talks about, okay, we did the door and the mirrors, we did the fuel tank caps and leaks. We talked about that, the catwalk and the steps, and the lights and the reflectors. So we'll check. We're just looking down, and we're seeing if there's any debris obstructions in the way there also. And I don't see anything laying around, and we'll check. So now we're going to go outside and we'll check some more of the reflectors and some of the lights. I like to go this way, Ben. So I like to start right from the door and go around this way. It's however you want to do it, as long as you talk about it. So our side marker up there, the lens is in place. It's clean and it's not cracked, and we'll check that light in a little bit. We have some blinkers on the fenders also. They appear to be in good shape, nice and tight, and we'll check those. We talked about our headlights, our bumper, it's nice and tight. Our other left indicators right here, it's nice and tight, clean, appears to be good shape. We have another side marker up here, appears to be in good shape, tight to the bus, and lens looks good, which matches the reflector, the amber one down here. Okay, the driver window, once again, these are double pane, so if the glass goes bad, they would get moisture in between the panes of the glass. And then you have to make sure you note that and probably get those replaced. Okay, I like to go down like half the bus and then we'll come back. So we're checking the remaining of the glass, checking for cracks, the remaining of the glass, all looks good. We come to the emergency window. It's clearly labeled as the emergency exit. It has reflector tape going around, and the reflector tape is all in good shape, no frayed edges on any of that. This window looks in great shape. We have our middle side marker here. The lens looks good, it's not cracked, and that matches the reflector tape down here also. The glass looks good, looking no more cracks. Come to the next emergency window. It says it's emergency exit window. Has the tape going around it. the tape appears to be in great shape. Go to the next. Just checking the remaining of the glass. I don't see any cracks. All appears to be in good shape. We have our rear side marker, our red one. Lens looks good. Appears to be in good shape. And it matches our side one down here, our red one. Okay. We're looking at the side, going back now. All the reflector tape also appears to be in good shape. We're labeled as Cook School Bus Service. Clearly labeled. Tape all looks good. We come up, we have a side for our 4-ways or our turn signal. Lens looks good. And we have a stop arm. Lenses look good. We'll check the back side once we turn the 8-ways on. We'll check the other side. We'll go into the fuse panel. Just checking to see being electrical, any black wires or anything like that. Everything seems to be nice and tied in. Appears to be good shape. Fuses all look good. So all nice and clean, organized. Okay. Go to the battery box. Is here. This lever here. The main thing is it needs to be behind there, and this allows it to pull out. Okay. So this is going to lock it in there, which is very important. Okay. Now it won't roll out. The other thing we're looking for is on top of the terminals that there's no corrosion on top of the terminals. These batteries appear to be in good shape. Okay. All right. So next on the bus, they're talking about the drive shaft, exhaust system, and frame. So we'll kind of look underneath here. And we'll point out a few things. So the drive shaft, here's the drive shaft. The key thing on the drive shaft, that it's not bent. If it's bent, the bus is really going to go down the road funny. Not a good thing. Our safety hangers, there's one there, and we're gonna have another safety hanger there, and one back there.
So we have
three safety hangers.
Oh, it's 4 right there.
4. You're a good one. Yep. So we have 4 safety hangers. They are all present. The exhaust, you can see the exhaust. You can see a clamp there, and nothing's really hanging down. Another clamp right here. So the exhaust appears to be all braced nice and well. The frame too, we're looking at the frame, don't see any rust holes, appears to be straight, appears to be in good shape. We can see the transmission, that's the shinier pan. I don't see any leaks underneath that, and I can see forward now a little bit more, and I can see that the oil pan, there's nothing dripping there also. Okay, and you just get another look towards that front there. Everything appears to be in good shape. We'll scan it towards the back. And here we can see the we're looking in between the dualies, the tires. No rocks can be embedded in between the tires. That's kind of what we're looking for. I don't see anything there. I can see our leaf spring mounting brackets all bolted to the frame nicely. Our rear differential, that's the big ball. I don't see any fluids dripping from there. And here I can see the U-bolts, and I can see all the nuts are present on those U-bolts. Okay, we'll go back to the rear set of tires. The rear set of tires have to be 2/32 seconds or greater for tread. So we have to check the inner one and the outer one. So we meet that easily on these tires. These tires are in good shape. And try to take a look at the leaf springs too. It's harder to see back here, but we'd be checking for cracks in those leaf springs also. And we can see a little bit more of the leaf springs here, just seeing if they're all present. And here's the leaf spring mounting brackets present too, with the pin in there. Good shape. Our mud flap is nice and tight, and our tires nice and hard. And these are also 105 psi. You gotta check the inner one too. It's a little harder. All you can do is bang on it as best you can, and those tires are nice and hard. We're looking at the sidewall on the tire. For any rubs, we have a little bit excessive wear, but not bad, and no bulges, and I don't see anybody that took a knife to the tires. Okay, the tires themselves, or the rims now, once again, no aftermarket welding on these rims. Rims look okay. Our lug nuts are all present, and there's no rust, which was indicating that one might be loose. Our hub seal is present. The seal's nice and dry. The nuts are all in place also. We have our valve stem. We have our valve stem here, and the cap is on, and then this one, this opening here, should be the valve stem, and the cap's on that tire also. It's very hard to see. We can see very little of the rim in there, the disc, and once again, you'd be looking for cracks on that. Okay, that takes care of that one. We'll go back underneath here, and we can see a few more things. So here, once again, we can see the frame. Just checking out the frame a little bit more. So, frame all looks nice and straight, both sides. You see the exhaust pipe coming down. I got a clamp over there, and it goes out to the back. I can see a clamp bracket on over there. Our tow hooks present, with the nuts also in place. Here we can see another view of our shock on there. I don't see any leaks coming in from the bottom. You can see the U-bolts, the nuts underneath there, a little bit better from here too. So, okay. Now we can check the rear. The rear of the bus. Once again, I like to start at the top. Our clearance lights are present up there, the red ones. They're not cracked. We got a little damage off the side of the bus there, but we got to pretend that we're clearly labeled as a school bus, even though it's got the charter signs on. But there, you're making sure that's reflector tape up there. We have our red and amber lenses are present, and the lenses all appear to be clean and securely mounted. We have our glass. All the glass in the back of the bus is not cracked, it's pretty clean. And our emergency door, we make sure that opens, and it's got a lock at a 90, and a little pin will come out right there. There. Now it won't let it go. So to shut it, you got to push it back and then shut it. But here you can get another view too, to see if you see anything laying underneath the seats. You get a better view of it. I don't see anything laying down. No obstruction on the floor. Okay? So you got to open that door and lock it at that 90 for your test. We have once again our reflector tape going around the doorway. Appears to be in good shape. They added some more in the back of the buses. Kind of a new thing. Okay, these are our turn signals and hazards. These are brake lights and running lights, top and bottom. And these are reverse lights. Same thing, reverse lights, brake lights, and running lights, daytime running lights. And our four-ways or turn signals. We have our two rear red reflectors. Appear to be in good shape. We have our current license tap sticker present. Okay, and then we can kind of just double check that, tap the tailpipe. Okay, and then we can do the last little bit. Our side red one is side markers. Red one is good, it's present, it's not cracked. Matches our reflector tape down at the bottom. Okay, we're looking at the glass. as we walk forward. For cracks, appears to be in good shape. We're clearly labeled as this is an emergency exit. We have our tape, reflector tape. The tape looks to be in great shape. Glass looks good. Label as cooked school bus. Looking at some more of the glass. Our middle marker, side marker, lens looks good. Matches the reflector marker in the middle here also. And we come upon another emergency exit, and we have a reflector tape going around. Appears to be in good shape. Rest of the glass also looks good. This is a double pane, just like the side door, double pane. So you'd be looking for moisture in this one too. If you're going on a trip and they require stuff to go in the windows, you can't put the sign in this window. The sign would have to go back here. Cannot have a sign in that side window. Okay. Our side indicator 4 ways. And we can talk about the tire again. Check. Mud flap is solid, and the tires here also, it's 2/32 or greater tread depth, and that meets that. That's really good. And we'll hit the tires. Tires are nice and hard. Same thing with the inner one. We can see the leaf springs in there. You can see the leaf springs a little bit here. We're checking for cracks in those. This is your leaf spring mounting bracket mounted to the frame, and then it mounts to the leaf spring also. Everything seems to be in shape there, and then the connection back here also. Everything looks good. The bolts there is in place, holding that all in there. So it's all attached to the frame. Looks good. The rim, again, no aftermarket welding is allowed, and our lug nuts are all present and nice and tight. Okay, and no rust, which is indicating one is loose. This is our axle hub, or the axle hub seal. Back here there's a seal. The seal is nice and dry, and all the nuts are present. Okay, we have our valve stem, and the cap is present on that one. And then check the inner one. The stem's there and the cap. And once again, it's really hard to see the disc in there, and we'd be checking for cracks on that also. The tires in the rear can have a recap tire. The front ones cannot have a recap tire. So, okay. So we'll go inside and we'll turn the lights. We'll check the seats and turn some lights on also. Then we'll come back up. All I like to do is we have to latch this so we can operate it by the steering wheel. This one's mounted on there. Okay, so we're going to turn the key. We'll shut the door. This is to operate the doors on the steering wheel. Okay, and now we are going to turn on our headlights. Now it's really going to be hard to see out there, but the headlights are on, and we're going to walk around the bus too in a little bit so we can see some of that. But the high beams, flash your high beams for the guy, and depending on what time of day you go there, you can kind of see it somewhat in the lens going brighter. So we got our ambers. I just turned the ambers on. They're right here on this bus. So you can see those flashing in the crossover mirrors, correct?
Yeah.
You see those? I like to turn the strobe light on. So we got the strobe light. Okay. And 4 ways. Our 4 ways are on here. And I can kind of see them flashing on the fender, very faint on both of those. Okay. All right. Now what I do is I go to the back of the bus. You could probably just stay there, Benji. I go to the back of the bus. I'm going to check those, but on the way back, I check the seats. I check the seats here. Then I check it here. If I check it here, that does the seat right at the floor. When I check it here, that's just to the frame. All these got to be secured. You got to check every one. Okay? And when I come up to the emergency exit roof hatch, okay, turn to exit. So for your test, you need to release this so you can push the red thing up, and the alarm's got to go off. Okay? And then you got to stick that, line that back up, put your hand in there and you can squeeze it, turn it to latch, and then pull it back down. And sometimes you need to just tap it. Okay? And then we go to our windows. It's emergency exit, do not block. Okay? And once again, you got to push these out, and the alarm has to go off out there. And we kind of did the pull handle and push out to open on the window, because some of the kids like to tear off the writing on the inside, so now the sticker's on the outside. So the windows, once again, emergency exit, do not block. You have to open every one. Okay, now I go back, checking the seats. And then we'll come up to the next one. So emergency, it's clearly labeled, do not block. Emergency exit, lift handle to open, push out. Okay, that one works out good. Emergency exit, do not block. Emergency exit, lift handle to open, push out. And we come up to the next one, the roof hatch. And speaking of that, now you can see the reflection from here that the strobe light is flashing.
Yeah.
You kind of see a flash in there. That's telling our strobe light is working back there. That's why we have it turned on. And once again, to exit, and then alarm's going off. Okay, put that back in there, and turn it to latch, and then pull back down. That's good. Checking the remaining seats. And those are all good. Emergency door, do not block. Emergency exit to open, lift up, red bar, and push out. So once again, we make sure that alarm is going. Okay, alarm is going. We can check those lights now. We have our ambers on at the top, flashing, and we should check our running lights and our four-ways. So I'm looking, our ambers are on, our running lights are working, the red ones, top and bottom, and then our four-ways are flashing, the two outside ones. Turn around and do it. Check this side. I can see my ambers are working, and my reds, running lights are on, the two top of the red ones are working, and our hazards are working. Okay, now I'm going to go back up here and shut off we're done with our strobe light and our four-ways. So I'm going to shut the strobe light off. I'm going to shut that switch back off. We're done with that for now. We're done with our four-ways. I'm going to turn that off. Four-ways are turned off. Now I'm going to turn my left indicator on. Okay? So we got it on the dash, and I can see it flashing on the fender, and I can see it kind of in the front headlights. And one thing too, we can check out the side. That side marker on the side of the bus is flashing also. It's the one behind that stop arm. Now I go to the back, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to open the door and check out, make sure it's blinking back there, the left turn signal. We're looking out, and the left turn signal is working. So now what I'll do is go forward. I will go forward here and turn the left one on, and then turn the right one on, and then we're going to exit the bus. Okay, so I'm going to turn the left one off, turn the right side on, and now I'm going to open the door, and then our reds will all come on. Okay. And now we're going to walk around the exterior, and we'll make sure all the lights are working. And once again, I start right here. Our front side marker is working, okay? And here's our turn signal. You saw that? That's flashing. The one in here is flashing, okay? And if you couldn't see with the headlights, you get the headlights on. They are working too. Our swing gate is functioning like it's supposed to, and we can see our reds flashing for our 8-ways, okay? Our top clearance lights are also working. And then we go to our side marker, front side markers on there. Here's our stop arm. It's working on this side, and we didn't see the back side. The lenses look good back here also, and they're flashing back there. Okay? A middle one, side marker is on. And our rear red one, it's tough to see, but we can see that's kind of on, it's on the back of that. Okay, and then we make sure our 8-ways, our reds are flashing in the back also. And then our turn signal on this side is working. Okay, we'll check our side marker. The red one's flashing here, or it's on. Our side marker. The middle marker is working, it's good. Our side one is working on this one. Okay, so we can enter the bus. We didn't talk anything about, we'll shut the door. And then we can shut off our turn signal. To shut off our 8-ways, you have to hit this, and I believe it's twice. Okay, so now that's shut off. Our headlights, we can shut off. So everything is shut off at this moment. Our overhead mirror, we didn't talk about that. It's clean, it's cracked, it's nice and tight. Okay, and then now we can work. We can work our fans. So we got a low and high on that one over there. Our radio for bass is here. We have our, I just like to read them and then put them on low and high. This is the midship, low and high. Another midship, low and high. Our stepwell heater is over here, low and high. And driver heater, low and high. Little heater down there. Okay, our rear heaters now, low and high. Another one, low and high. Our defrost, low and high. A boost pump, all you're going to be able to hear is a little hum that it's on. That'll help create a little more heat. The heated mirrors, these are heated mirrors. All you're going to be able to see is a red light come on that little white spot there. That's the only way you're going to know they're on. And then you could operate the door also from that switch if you didn't want to use it on the steering wheel. Okay, we did our strobe light. Now we're going to check the interior lights. Our rear, those are the two there, and I'll turn the next set are the remaining ones of the interior of the bus, and then we have one over the driver's seat here on this one. And they're all on, and the lenses look good also. And then we have a crossing gate cancel switch here. Noise suppression button, which you would use going up to a railroad crossing. You could have, let's say, the fans on and then the radio, but that'll kill the fans.
That's the master switch they're talking about?
Yep, the noise suppression. Okay, so you turn it, once you're beyond, the rear bumper is beyond the track, you can turn that back on. Okay, so we'll shut those off. Over here we have our air. It says recycle or fresh. And our heat is driver and passenger. It's right in the middle. And then the temperature is blue or red. It's on the colder for the summer months at least. Alright, and inside here we should have a seatbelt cutter. I mean, if it doesn't, you'll have to get one. Right here. There's our seatbelt cutter. You gotta have that. And then our seatbelt strap. The main thing here, we're making sure there's no frayed edges in the seatbelt strap. Appears to be good shape. Okay. Over here, we have the parking brake, push to release. We have our transmission, so reverse and neutral drive shifters right here. We have our cruise control here on set. You can set them here and resume. Mud and snow if you want to use that for traction. And then our regen and inhibit regen also. And I believe this is for cleaning out your catalytic converter on the bus. So, and that would explain it up here how to head if the light came on the dash, that you would have to hit that and then it'd clean out the system. So our intercom for inside the bus, a radio, and then the ignition switch key is right here. I'm going to start the bus, perform a safe start. So when you perform your safe start, you have to have your foot on the brake and then let the examiner know that you're going to perform your safe start. Okay, that's your safe start right there. And then we're going to look at the gauges. Now this bus has been sitting here for a while, but when you go ahead and take your test, those gauges will be kind of warmer where they're supposed to be. So you're making sure your transmission, water, oil, amps, that the gauges are all functioning. We have our RPM, okay, tack there, speedometer, our volts should be right around the 14 there. We have our fuel gauge is functioning, okay, and we have our tilt for the steering wheel switch over here. We have our windshield wipers, and you gotta turn your wipers on, and then you gotta hit the fluid. Okay, so you see the fluid come out. And then you've got your speeds right here, intermittent, low, and then high, depending on how heavy the rain is. Okay, so that's there. And a lamp check switch, which we could explain it to you later. And then I just turn the lights on the bus whenever I'm driving a school bus. Then you got a panel switch here too, which at nighttime, if you want to dim the lights on the dash, that you can, so it's not too bright for the driver. So you just hold it or push it down like that, and it'll get that to be dimmer or brighter, just the way the driver wants it. Okay, now we're just gonna make sure that the brakes grab and release properly. So I release the parking brake. I'm just going to go ahead, make sure the brakes are grabbing and releasing. And they're not pulling in one direction. So now I'm going to shut the bus off. Since we had our 8 ways going, I'm going to shut the bus off. I think this one needs to go. The lights are off. You got to make sure the lights are off. I make sure the door's shut, and then I think this one here, the switch has got to go all the way to the left. And that's the alarm. And some of the buses have a button, or you lift up the arm back here. And that should take care of the chirp. Now the chirping stop up there. So all you have to do is break the contact right here.
I don't need to open and close again.
Nope, you just gotta,
pull it up.
Just got to break that contact right there. You see that? That's all you got to do. If you want to open it, you can open it, but you just got to break the contact. So on a hydraulic bus, this finishes up your pre-trip. This is all, and then just turn your key, and you're all done. Okay?
Okay.
All right.